podcast where two bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Condo over Kate, and I'm joined by my regular co-host,
Mr. Ben Errington.
Ben Errington.
Usually giving a Mr. thing. You did your intro in a different. Yeah. You did your intro in a different tone. As
I just wanted to throw you off course to keep you. You know, like comedians sometimes say they like to put in an extra word that they wouldn't put in on any other night, so it comes out fresh. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I like to stick a quick thumb up that you weren't expecting.
Thumb up the ring piece. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the first episode of us back at a regular Skype platform rather than actually being sat next to each other in the room. How did you find that?
I liked it. I liked being sat next to you. It was a bit weird. I think I kept looking at you. Watching it back, it looks like I'm sort of in love with you. Like
yeah.
Just like gazing at you lovingly. But you were really good. You were looking at the camera and talking to the camera, which I didn't do.
That's alright. I don't think it matters, does it? I think the majority of people would still have been consuming this podcast in audio form.
Yeah, everyone just looks at you anyway. They look at you lovingly throughout the entire... That's the face.
Yeah. I look at myself lovingly, and the little I've got in Skype, I've got a little box with my own face in it, and I rarely take my eyes off that. I just go, look at the state of you. Look at what you've become.
I think everyone's like that. No one's looking at the other person in Skype or like the other person in a FaceTime call. The only reason I'm not looking at myself is because I've got my notes up as the main screen, and you're like a little square in the corner.
Got you. And just hide yourself off.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed from sitting next to you is
I smell
is that you bloody stink. You smell of bloody oxtail soup or some shit like that. You smell of up north, which is mines and
coal and
mines and bloody Bovril and what else?
Pies.
And all that shite. I noticed is that you've got like quite a detailed note system. Well, not detailed, but like you've got a note system.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be completely honest with you, is that I stopped the note system after maybe like episode 20.
Okay.
So I used to like make notes. I used to write notes in a notebook. I used to do these things. What I tend to do now is I've got like a few tabs open for me to like refer back to of the film. But I don't really make notes anymore. I don't know what it is. I found I didn't want to make notes while I was watching the film because it almost felt like it took me out of it. And then afterwards, I don't know.
Well, I've stopped focusing on taking notes during the film too much. So I used to like think I have to get talking points about each part of the film. But now I just kind of feel like I'll remember and I'll talk about whatever I'm thinking about at the time. But I need notes for scores, trivia even.
Trivia, that makes more sense.
Staff. As in actors.
Well, I think with the tabs, I'm kind of like I've got usually a Wikipedia, an IMDb, and a Letterboxd open simultaneously, which I can like refer back to. So, despite the fact that my note-taking ability is clearly taking a hit, I mean I know what I'm doing, mate. I'm a bloody professional, you know.
Speaking of that, you got any news for us?
Oh yes. Well, this week has been. I don't know if it's been because we obviously missed last week. But quite a lot's been happening. I don't know if have you noticed this? Like trailers have been dropping for stuff left, right, and centre, right, and left. I find it pretty difficult to keep up. So this week we
just watch one after the other.
Arrange your belly. I'll watch them all at the same time, mate. Just so good. Well, what's going on?
Yeah.
Non-horror ones. Like obviously we've had like Wonder Woman this week, other stuff, and then horror ones we've had like kind of horror, Ghostbusters. We've had some game announcements and stuff. I feel like it's bloody Christmas. I can't keep up. Just give me a break in the lead up to Christmas.
But so out of all of the things that you just mentioned, I know which one you're. Well, actually, I think I know which one you're the most excited about.
Yeah.
Resident 3.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll dive into that first. So Resident Evil 3 or Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which I don't think is going to be called. I think it's going to be called just Resident Evil 3. I think they've got rid of the Nemesis tagline.
Yeah.
For this. It's been officially announced. We saw last week sort of like a leak of the artwork because apparently it went up on the PlayStation Store or the PlayStation Network, and we saw Jill and Carlos, and the new design of Nemesis, which is like he's got a weird crooked nose and is. I mean, it looks very much in keeping with the new Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7. A lot of people complain and saying it looks a bit silly, but I like it. I think
it definitely
from
looks
watching
the most silly out of Resi 7 and Resi 2 so far.
Yeah, I think Nemesis kind of looks bloody mental
If he's
anyway,
walking
doesn't
around
he?
with a bazooka. I think the reason I like Resi 7 so much is because it starts off very grounded and then becomes increasingly sort of insane. But yeah, no, I mean, and so is it first person? Because the trailer has a whole first person.
So the trailer has a first person section, but the game, I'm assuming, and I've seen a few minutes of gameplay, or I'll say a few minutes, probably like 30 seconds. It's going to be the same as Resident Evil 2, so that over the shoulder sort of.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of over the shoulder, a little bit behind. It's basically going to be the same as Resi 2. I think the same way that the 2 and 3 followed each other in the original PlayStation. It's going to be basically like that. The same game, using some of the same settings, obviously, as Resident Evil 2. And yeah, it looks pretty good. We don't see absolutely loads, but we see enough to hype everybody up. I mean, the fact that Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 was such a big presence, metaphorically and literally, Nemesis is obviously going to follow something similar to that. So, but yeah, one of my favourite games. Every Resident Evil game is up there as one of my favourites. But pretty lucky as if you're a Resident Evil fan to be enjoying these games in 2019/2020, because Resident Evil 2 remake was superb and Resident Evil 3 looks like it's going to be just as good. And also, so there's an online game.
Oh yes, so if this is just as successful, do you think they'll pump straight through to Resi 4?
I think possibly Resi 8 would get the attention after this. Wow, and Resi 4... I think Resi 4 is... yeah.
What?
I think Resi 4 is...
7-2-3-8.
I think Resi 4 still feels like enough of a classic, using a lot of gaming styles that are still really popular now, that I think going back and remaking it almost feels a bit redundant. Whereas these, because they were on PS1, remaking them kind of feels. And also Resident Evil 4, there's so many different ports and different versions of it on pretty much every console. I can't remember the last time we got the PlayStation 4 version of it, but I think it's been there. I think after Resident Evil 2 and 3 they'll move on to 8. I don't think they're likely to give the remake treatment to anything else for a while, until maybe PS5.
That makes sense. Yeah. So I mean, the Ghostbusters trailer is not what anyone was expecting. I think everyone's kind of thinking after the backlash of the last Ghostbusters, they were like, oh, they're going to completely play it by what people want. It's going to be fan service central. It's just going to be full of Venkman, Egon, not Egon, the others. But it's not. Oh, the trailer isn't anyway. It's it's got none of that at all. It's not even in New York, which is sort of crucial, really, to a Ghostbusters film as we know it.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it's basically Stranger Things by the way of Ghostbusters, which I guess yes, not just because of Finn Wolfhard's inclusion, but kids. But as far as I'm aware, all the original cast, sans Harold Ramis, are returning, right?
I think so. Yeah, and I love the little bit of trailer with Bill Murray's speech.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah. Call it fade. Call it karma. Yeah, I love that. I thought that was a wonderful. That was a goosebumps moment for me during this trailer, and I don't mean goosebumps like.
Yeah, the books.
The books. Yeah, that was great, and I think it looks cool. We didn't see really any ghosts or any major plot points, or this could all be taking part in the first half of the film, and we could end up in New York or somewhere else in the second half possibly. But I'm kind of glad that they didn't just go, right, here's basically a Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they've, again, and it's Jason Reitman, isn't it? So the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first two, the originals. So yeah, cool. So that's obviously...
Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, I was interested to watch the 2016 film, and I was pretty hyped for that all the way up until I actually saw it, and the problems I had with that film were sort of way beyond what a lot of the backlash was. So I've seen it again, and like just a bit slapstick, I think. And I think in terms of the humor that Ghostbusters had, which was that it was still quite scary, but obviously had that very sort of cutting humor with these great characters. That's kind of what I felt was missing from the last one. Forget, the gender of the leading actors. I think it was just the humor was a bit too slapstick for me. And Chris, my biggest problem with that film was Chris Hemsworth character. Who I was just like, this guy's what is the point? What film is this guy supposed to be from? It's not Ghostbusters. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy and hyped. And obviously, it looks like they're Egon's grandchildren as well, doesn't it? Because talk about their granddad, and they look at one of the suits, and it's with Spengler. And I think an Ecto-1 going through a cornfield. I never ever thought that I wanted that in my life, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's badass. And as soon as I heard the sound, like the siren sound as well, I was like, oh yes, come on.
Yeah, looking forward to
Let's do it. So also The Conjuring 3 has announced its official title, which a lot of people have said is kind of a stupid title, but the more I kind of look at it, the more I think, yeah, why not? So it's called The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and it'll be released in September 2020.
Well, I think it's going to be about, because they're all about like real incidents, aren't they? I don't know the Lorraine, what are they called?
Lorraine Kelly.
I don't know about Lorraine Kelly's ghost hunting cases, but it must be about a real case. So I wonder what they're going to do. I wonder what they're going to play into. Is there a famous murderer or someone who said the devil made me do it?
Here we go. So, one of the most sensational cases from their files. It starts with a fight for the soul of a young boy, then it takes them beyond anything they've ever seen before to mark the first time in US history that a murder suspect would claim demonic possession as a defense.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Interesting.
So, it is directed by Michael Chaves, who directed...
way. It has to be James Wan, surely. He has to finish his trilogy.
So, The Curse of La Llorona he directed, so...
Oh, shit the bed.
I mean, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it. I'm judging.
I haven't heard good. I haven't heard good things either. I'm really walking like a knife edge with these kind of films, especially after watching these two films that we're reviewing today. Well, you know how I feel about films like this, and probably for the first time in a long time, I honestly felt like after watching one of these films that I was done.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. I don't ever want to watch a film like this ever again. I'm done. Yeah. And then I watched Ouija, Origin of Evil afterwards, and I felt like, maybe I'm not done. Maybe I'm not done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very close. I feel like if I sort of, that's why I feel like I really want to stay away from some. If I kind of feel like it's going to be bad, I think I need to stay away from it.
Like La Llorona is an example. I saw the bad stuff about it and was just like, I just can't be arsed with watching a bad version of the haunted house type.
I mean, I still haven't seen The Nun. Have you?
No. Again, there's just so many of those coming out. I feel like we can pick and choose and just pick the best ones. I'm not that interested in the genre at the minute. I just feel a little bit over.
Yeah, I mean it's oversaturated, and unfortunately, if you're over the genre, it's very rare that the genre offers anything new. With one of these, with Ouija, obviously we are going to get into it, but for the first time in a long time, I felt myself just like actively predicting things, what were going to happen, what was going to be said, and I don't want to do that when I'm watching a film of any genre, really. I don't want to be sat there going, I bet this happens next. Oh, what are you going to say? You're going to say this, are you? And it was almost like I was rolling my eyes so hard that my eyes fell out and landed in my hand, and then I ate them, and then they popped back into my eyes.
Bloody hell.
I mean, it was pretty good. Bloody hell.
Have you seen anything good this past couple of weeks?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking this earlier. What have I been watching? I don't know whether... So I think pretty much the only thing I've seen of any note is Knives Out, which I know you've seen as well. So the Rian Johnson murder mystery, which I was wasn't entirely sure if I was definitely going to go see it at the cinema. I saw a couple of trailers. I thought it looked pretty cool, but I was really surprised by how much I liked it, enjoyed it, and kind of want to return to that sort of story and that sort of world. again, and if possibly Daniel Craig was going to turn up as Benoit Blanc in future installments, I would definitely be in there for that. I mean, it's a great cast, and it's nice for Rian Johnson to do something that's obviously a million miles away from Star Wars, and great for like the likes of Daniel Craig and Chris Evans to do something that isn't their most iconic roles.
Yeah, man. My defenses were up going into it. I just kind of, yeah, exactly, yeah. But had my guards up going in. I just wasn't expecting to enjoy. I'm not a big fan of Agatha Christie stories, or
No.
I like the board game Cluedo, but I don't. I never win. No, I don't know. I just never, that genre I've never really got into, like cozy mysteries to call them, I think. But went into this and I was kind of blown away. It was really, really fun. Like, just like, it's not a whodunit, because you kind of find out sort of is, but not really, and it constantly keeps you guessing. There's a bit of lull like halfway through, but then it kind of brings it around to a really satisfying, funny conclusion. It's great, mate. I've seen like a cornucopia of cinematic joy. I've been drinking from this. It's been amazing. Check out these films I've watched recently. Parasite.
Yeah.
I always told you last time I think we spoke. I'd seen the first hour and I fell asleep. But I watched the rest of it. I was like, wow, that was absolutely fantastic. I love everything about it. The Irishman, Scorsese, absolutely loved it. Haunt, which is relevant to this podcast. Haunt is the low budget, extreme haunted house story.
Yeah, heard of this.
Slasher.
It's on Shudder.
It's on Shudder. It's pretty good. It's pretty.
Okay.
It actually has some really disturbing kills, and you can't sort of just sit back and watch it. You kind of does draw you in and does not creep you out, but it's just a bit brutal in places in the best fun way. Inherent Vice, the Paul Thomas Anderson film, which is weird as shit, but it's, and I wasn't too sure I was enjoying it at the time of watching it, but when it was done, I was like, that was pretty great. Just like a
Joaquin
really,
Phoenix, right?
yeah.
What's it like watching a Joaquin Phoenix role? Post Joker.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
In
but
general.
I mean post Joker, yeah.
Well, he's amazing in this as well, in a completely different way. He's like a funny, stoned detective called Doc, and it's a weird film, weird performance, but just sort of fantastic. What's his name in this as well? Josh Brolin, who plays. I don't know, man. You just got to watch it. It feels like the kind of film, a more mature, more layered version of Big Lebowski. That kind of humor or that kind of story where it feels like, I'm not too sure what the hell happened, but it there's something about the tone of it that's really good. Okay, we took a bit of a dive and we went to what we saw Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, because it came on Netflix. Still fun. I still liked it. It wasn't amazing. But I still liked it.
The first one. Okay, the first one, because the
yeah.
second one's out like tonight, tomorrow.
I don't know. You must like it if you've been following that.
Yeah, I'm a bit iffy on those, but my daughter likes them, so I promised we would go and watch the sequel.
It was, yeah, I might take Kat if she wants to go. It was fun for me and Kat to watch together, and Jack Black and The Rock are funny. And,
yeah, so I just love Jack Black, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much sold no matter what he's in.
Then went to the cinema to see Die Hard. They're playing it again for a Christmas thing. Die Hard's always great. I haven't seen it for years, and I didn't remember how silly it was. I mean, I always knew it was silly. Like the moments where Bruce Willis is talking, like having a sort of like romance with the policeman outside over the radio.
Yeah.
They're kind of falling in love over the phone. It's weird, but it's like loads of silly moments where there's like there's like a SWAT squad going into Nakatomi Plaza, and as they're going in, one of the guys is like all beefy, holding a gun. He runs and he catches his hand on a rose and he goes, ah! Like he just sort of like squeals at that.
He catches his hand on a what? A rose?
Like a little rose, yeah, like a rose thorn. And he goes, ah! And it's so silly. So little moments like that I'd never noticed before. And then Knives Out, and then a night or two ago I watched A Marriage Story, which again, I missed one here. Child's Play I watched, which is great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Child's Play as we know it. It's not the same kind of film at all, but it's fun. Mark Hamill plays the role great. There's some laugh out loud moments. There's some bits where it's like an AI, like a little AI robot toy
I
thing.
I think I watched it without realizing it was Mark Hamill.
And there's like little bits where like he's teaching the robot how to like do a sandwich, and the kid stabs the knife into the chopping board, and then he walks away, and Chucky robot started like doing the action without the knife. It's like it's just silly little moments,
Yeah.
and the kills are great, stupid like fun.
I mean, I thought it was all right. Like, I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought it was.
I don't
you
think I
know,
wasn't blown away, but I just thought it was way better than I thought it was going to be. You go in with low expectations, and you come out with high rewards. And the Marriage Story, which have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, but
Okay.
it is
Isn't
something that I'm probably going to have to watch either tonight or the next couple of days. So there's a lot of Golden Globe nominations for the film and for Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver. So
Mate,
yeah, go on.
it's fantastic. I mean, it's if you like that kind of film. I mean, our audience here maybe don't go in for it, but it's quite heavy at times, really emotional. I welled up a few times. It's funny as well. Adam Driver and what's the flavour? Scarlett Johansson. are
ScarJo.
great. Yeah, ScarJo. Great.
What's her bloody flavour? It's got to be something.
And I've been watching Watchmen as well as Preacher season 2. Watchmen, I've seen a few episodes so far.
Are you
Not-
up
no,
not up to date?
no.
I honestly think Watchmen, and it's going to sound like it's all superlatives I can think of. It's got to be one of the best written and most consistent TV shows. Bearing in mind, it's 8 episodes in.
Hmm.
One of the most consistently brilliant TV shows that I've seen in a long, long time. Something that just like every episode you're like, holy shit, how can it get any better? Oh my god, what about that? How can it get any better? Next episode, what on earth? It's just every single episode just takes that next step.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time a show did that. Because I think most of the time, you have episodes which feel like filler episodes or like there's lulls or stuff like that. This is like mad. Like, and if you enjoyed, or if you enjoyed a graphic novel or the film, I just feel like it offers enough to
Yeah.
please both audiences.
And it's got that Damon Lindelof flavour. At the end of every episode, there's a what the fuck cliffhanger
Yeah.
sort of moment, which is fine, keeps you watching, and kind of perks you up at the end of each episode. But it's really well put together. I've seen people saying it's better than the Watchmen graphic novel, and I don't think you can compare the two. They're completely different
No,
beasts.
I don't think I would compare it but I think it offers enough
Hmm.
on top of the graphic novel to make it feel like it is a next step on from that. Like, there's nothing in the show where I go, Alan Moore wouldn't approve of this. I mean, he probably wouldn't approve of it, but there's nothing in the show where if I was reading it in an Alan Moore graphic novel, I wouldn't go, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Everything kind of offers enough.
Yeah,
It's like political. There's obviously absolutely loads of stuff to do with like race and race wars, and it's like a show about superheroes, which probably is as little about superheroes as any show about superheroes ever has been. Like, when you try and explain it, they go, "What's Watchmen about?" You go, "Well, it's about superheroes," but it really isn't. It really isn't about superheroes or vigilantes. No, it's not.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see how it goes, because I mean the ending. I mean, the Watchmen, the graphic novel, like, is a kind of like a perfectly rounded off story. So hopefully the series can match that. I don't know. Are they going to do many
Oh,
series? Or is this?
I don't know. So I think there's
season?
only 9. I think there's only 9 episodes. So it's also making me kind of go and check out the Doomsday Clock comics, which I never ever did, because I did kind of feel like they might tarnish the legacy of the graphic novel. So
Yeah, I've been reading some Grant Morrison comics at the minute called The Filth. Have you read those?
yeah, no,
Just insane. About a guy who, I don't know how to describe it. It's it's a guy.
there's a guy.
He was a sleeper agent who didn't know he was a sleeper agent for some pansdimensional cleanup police squad task force called the Filth.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. The last issue I read was about people traveling into comic books. It has that whole kind of, breaking the fourth or going into the third wall, going behind
Yeah.
the third wall. I don't know. It's cool.
Going behind the third wall.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it's cool. But other than that, yeah, we saw the 2 Ouija movies.
Yes, the Ouija
Did
movie.
you?
So,
Did you see the tagline? Did you Ouija pants?
did you Ouija? Did you Ouija pants? I can categorically and safely say
Yes.
no.
Oh.
I did not.
I pooed.
We about to
Pooed
lose
your
the
pants.
food, but that was just because I naturally needed to not do the films.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're obviously we're gonna talk about both the films. So I guess we're gonna be kind of as brief as possible on the first
Speaker.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's what you
Speed
posted in the Horror Hangout Board of Advisors that we're going to be doing it, and a few chaps and chapettes spoke up. David McCallion says the first one was alright. Watch past the time. Haven't seen the second. I have problems with Blumhouse. I find their films very samey. So once you've seen some, you've kind of seen them all. There are a few exceptions like the Belko Experiment and Happy Death Day, but Get Out. Get Out, but mostly the same. Kelsey Jankovic says struggling to even remember the first one, but I found the second one surprisingly enjoyable. Andy Conduit Turner, Mr. Sheets himself, liked the production, and there's some great tension building. But I find that movies like this, that after the demon or ghost takes ages to possess the first person, it then manages to jump between others with minimal effort, like musical chairs. True. Correct. David Nesbitt says first one was pants. Second one is actually pretty good.
First one was bloody pants. I mean, the first one, like, is that it? Is that
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So let's just give it. Just be yeah. So Ouija.
I say Ouija.
Ouija. I say Ouija.
You
Ouija board.
say Ouija.
Ouija board. So Ouija board. Fuck it up. Ouija is a 2014 American supernatural horror film directed by Styles White in his directorial debut, produced by Jason Blum, Michael Bay, a lot of other people. So it stars Olivia Cook, Darren Kagasoff, Douglas Smith, Bianca Santos as teenagers who have unleashed spirits from a Ouija board. So apparently, when this film does end, it does say based on the Hasbro game, doesn't it?
Maybe there might be some trivia about it.
Oh. Yeah. So the first one is right.
Okay. Well, okay. So here's the scores. Ratings 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they say slowly, steadily, although no one seems to be moving in that direction. The Ouija planchette points to no. 24% audience scoring on Rotten Tomatoes, 1.7 on Letterboxd.
Wait, so 6% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah. I think the problem with the first film.
Insane.
Huh?
That's insane. That's insanely low.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
Yeah. The problem with this film is like it's so by the numbers, so unsurprising that it's like there's no scares in the film. There's nothing to make you feel like you're watching a horror film, other than it sort of has, it's ticking the boxes. There's a creepy thing with some pale. There's things that mouths go wide. There's just nothing scary about this film at all.
It is the most bland. I was going to say vanilla, but I like vanilla. It's just the most bland, unflavoured, It's not just the most predictable horror
like
film.
Going
I've ever
for a can
seen.
of Coke or a bottle of Coke and then realising it's just sparkling water.
Yeah, not even sparkling water. I don't reckon. I reckon like
I don't like sparkling water.
Water that's like been a bottle of water that's been left in the car in the summer for
like
about
that.
3 days.
Plasticky.
Oh, I like that. I like it. I do. I found this film probably one of the most agonizing experiences I've had in a long time. Just boring, just predictable, but not just most predictable horror film, predictable film. Void of plot, void of character, void of
atmosphere,
tension,
there's no
void of
building
atmosphere.
We'll go to the second one in a little bit, but when you watch even the opening scenes of both of these films, like there's just so much more atmosphere and tone and stuff captured and into the second film than there is in this one. It just seems to be made by someone who knows more about what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't understand any of the characters' motivations. I don't understand why any of the scenes are happening. I don't really understand what they're trying to, do. What the ghostly thing is trying to do.
Yeah.
What it's trying to prove.
It has like boilerplate scenes as well, where you kind of feel like they're like template scenes in this horror movie template of a script, and they were like, the idea was to go back and take those bits out and put more interesting versions to tell that bit of the story, but they've left in the just really standard bits of dialogue, and really
Yeah, some of the dialogue is really really bad, to the point where something that I noticed, and something that the person I was watching it with noticed, is that something kept happening where someone would make someone scared by appearing. I just went, all right, and they go, ah, and they look at them dead in the eye, and they go, oh, it's me, and you go, I know it's you because I can see you with my eyes, you idiot. Are you human? If someone said that to me in real life, I'd be like,
are you dancers?
I'd be like, are you a human or are you a robot? Prove it. Basically, it is like, when you see scripts that have been written by like AI.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. And it's a bit uncanny valley where, some of these characters look dead behind the eyes. Some of these actresses and actors look dead behind the eyes. And you're like, is this take 506?
Yeah.
No, we gotta...
I do worry. I think the writers are credited as Juliet Snowden and Styles White, who also directed it. It does feel more like their names were slapped on top of a sort of a committee project where... I'm probably going to spoil maybe one of the trivia questions. Hasbro Entertainment, Michael Bay's in there, Blumhouse are probably got some stuff to say about it as they go through it. It feels like too many people are sort of pulling, and they just ended up with such a
but then again
story.
Juliet Snowden and Styles White have been involved in Boogeyman, which I haven't actually seen, but could be great. Probably is. And knowing that film with Nicolas Cage.
They wrote that, I think, then they definitely directed it.
They wrote that, so they didn't direct it. So, I mean, not the greatest track record, I guess, before this, but this is a real kick in the teeth. This is a real kick in the teeth for any horror fan, because, some people, and I hate to say it because obviously people can't help what horror films they're exposed to, but some people, this might be like their first experience of horror, or like what they think is the state of the horror genre in, currently. So they might go, oh, what's this film called Ouija? I'll watch that. I like horror films. And you watch it and you're just like, fuck. Worse still, people out there are going to be thinking this is good.
I don't think so. The audience score is 24%.
I don't know, mate. I'd be fuming if
I'm more worried if people watch this and go, like you said, like this is the state of the horror industry at the minute, and it's not really at all.
I don't know. Yeah, it's frustrating to watch because when you're a horror fan, you really don't expect to be this disappointed, or you don't. It's almost like you feel like your intelligence is being.
There's one bit where I was like, Lynn Shay's in it, and I think she has to contractually be in at least 10 Blumhouse films a year.
Yeah, do you know? I kind of feel like when I see Lynn Shay now, I kind of just go, nah. I go, not for me. Like she's in there's a trailer for a new Grudge film, isn't there?
Is she in that?
There's like an R-rated trailer that came out today, and she's in it, and it's quite an extensive scene with her. And I just thought, if it was someone else, I might be interested, but because it's you, I feel annoyed. So I can't forgive. What is it? Is it Insidious?
You don't like Insidious, do you?
I don't like any of the Insidious films, unfortunately. I mean, there might have been a couple.
I think the first film was good, from what I remember, but I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think the first one was alright.
So she's been in it. She's been in everyone. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Insidious: The Last Key. I know she's going to be in Grudge, and it's just like, is she playing a character who's really any different, like in this film either?
Well, in this one, it's weird. I don't know what the motivation. Again, I don't know what the motivation is. She just turns evil halfway through. She plays off as like the. I mean, it's a story we've seen many times. It's like she's a lot older. She's in a mental institution, and she's. I mean, it doesn't even hold true with the prequel. The prequel, she's not evil.
No, exactly. That makes no sense. She's essentially the hero of origin of evil, and I know obviously it's not the fault of this film considering what order they came out in, but it really doesn't.
You should have bloody known.
Should have bloody known what the film's going to be in the future past. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I guess
I'm not too interested in going through the plot too much. I don't know about you. On this one.
No. So No. So there's basically someone who plays a Ouija board as a kid, and in present day, she tries to burn
I thought
this
you meant
Ouija
this,
board.
like an actor plays the Ouija board.
Well,
Played by
I
Doug
don't
Jones.
touch it. And it's like, so basically the whole film is like, oh, something weird's happening with the Ouija board, don't really know what's going on, or someone hung themselves. All of her friends come together to try and like get to the bottom of it, find out what's happening. But they kind of just keep using the Ouija board. Nothing really happens. They go like, oh, I was scared a bit using the Ouija board, or we're messing with things we don't understand. If I have to hear that, what they say before they use the Ouija board again, I must have said it about 12 times in this film. Because they say it like, hearts so true, friends all together, something. And I was like, shut up, you idiots! God's sake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so everyone's an idiot, basically.
Right,
Every character's an idiot. Especially both the male characters. They're
both the
pointless
same
idiots.
person, I think.
They're both the same person. What are they doing? Oh, can't mess with the Ouija board. The only thing we can do to stop messing with the Ouija board is we gotta mess with the Ouija board. That's pretty much what their attitude
Even the
is.
kills are so tame. There's one girl who, I mean, they play a game of Ouija boards, and the spirit ticks them off one at a time. And there's like a kill where she's like flossing her teeth, and it's like suddenly her lips are stitched together, and it did bash her head into the sink a bit, so that's quite cool. But there's like no, I don't know, it didn't feel very dangerous at all
No.
to me.
No, it didn't.
I don't know.
I never felt tense, or it never felt dangerous. I never felt, And again, it's because I'm not invested in any of these characters. Like when that person was dying, I was like, who's this again?
Yeah.
For a second, I was like, has she done a Ouija board? Or is she just someone who's got caught up in this? Is it attacking
Yeah.
people who haven't done a Ouija board now? And then it's like, oh no, she was the one who'd done a Ouija board.
I'd like it if the actual board attacked them. Like,
Yeah,
just, like,
that'd be
flying
much
through the air.
Just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be good. Or the little thing like that just went like in their eye.
The little planchard.
I mean,
don't
pretty
know,
much
planchette, whatever it's called.
Are you frustrated by this, right? So, every time someone looks through the Ouija board thing with the glass, they start here, yeah? And they pan from left to right. Now, we see this maybe 4 times in this film. We even see it in the second film. But the same thing happens every time.
I'll talk about
It's
this.
that from left to right, there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's always something there. There's always
always on the
someone on the
right
far
side.
right. So no matter where you stand, no matter where you start,
Yeah.
there's always something kind of there on the right hand side.
So
And
the
you know
second
what's gonna
film,
happen.
the second film does it again. I kind of feel like the second film was trying to tie the films together in certain ways.
Yeah.
But the second film did the exact same thing, left to right, looking through the little glass thing, but it felt way more tense. Like there's an element of like, tension, and as they were looking, there was like a thing just moving out of view and like moving the body of the girl as well at the same time. It was it just felt like, even though it was a bit of a shoddy trick, even that was 10 times better in the prequel.
And I mean, every time in this original, it really, really was a shoddy trick. I can't really remember any of the jump scares, but I know they were all kind of annoying, and they were all kind of that really shrill violin,
Yeah.
like every time,
Yeah.
where you're just like, oh great, got me again, wonderful.
Yeah.
So they basically start contacting a spirit called DZ, who's like a little girl. They see a little girl with her mouth sewn shut, and basically they start finding out that it's like the mother is like, you gotta help me, my mother is coming, sort of thing.
Hates mothers.
And as more and more people die, the main character sort of does a bit of digging, finds out about the history. There's a girl called Doris Zander who went missing. Mother was suspected in disappearance. So the main character manages to find the girl's sister, who's in a psychiatric hospital, because obviously she would be. Something terrible must have happened.
Played by Lynn Shay.
Yep, and she explains her mother was a medium, used Doris as a vessel for the dead to speak through. Mother went mad, so Doris's mother shut before killing her. And basically, she just says, there's a secret room in the house. You gotta go and find Doris's body and unstitch her mouth for the girl to banish her mother. I'd be like, I'm stepping away from this shit right now. I'm not going into any basement to unstitch any mouth.
I think
See you later.
trying to go for a Final Destination type of thing as well, where it's unseen forces picking people off one by one.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that, didn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so and it ends. How does it end? Like,
So we
wins.
basically find out that the mother was actually the good ghost. She was trying to stop the friends from summoning her. But it was Doris, and this was quite freaky. I mean, by freaky, I don't mean actually generally scary. Just looked very strange. Is that we do see the ghost of Doris in the end, sort of crawl through, and she gets basically banished. How does she get banished? Someone gets burnt. Or is it the Ouija board gets burnt?
The body.
Oh no, they
gets
throw
burnt.
Doris's
Yeah.
body on the fire, and that
Wait,
looked kind of
is
weird.
Is Doris not the mum?
No, Doris is the kid.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
The
Fair enough.
mum is called something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of
Yeah.
it, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think the ghost like possesses the main character at one point,
hmm.
I think. But the body gets thrown into the furnace. Yeah, and then she sees that planchette thing has. So the planchette is the weird movie thing, and that's kind of like appeared. You can't destroy this board as well. Like, if you burn it, it'll just turn back up on the table.
That's what I mean. If the board came alive and started to,
But
if
I'm
you
pretty
weren't
sure
you thought you were talking to the spirits, but you're actually talking to the board.
Just me, I'm the board. We do kind of see in the second film though that it is just a game. It is just like a Hasbro game
Yeah.
in a
yeah.
box. Why
Yeah.
is it haunted though?
Well, it's a vessel, isn't it? It's not. It's just
It's
a
not-
way to communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
guess so.
mean, it's not really haunted, is it? I mean, the game, but in this house, which has got the spooky
But yeah,
history.
I don't know if you got trivia. Have you got trivia for the first film or is it the second film?
I've done a sort of a broad trivia for both
But yeah,
of them. Yeah.
I think in general, I was just thoroughly disappointed and
thoroughly
frustrated
limp,
by
yeah.
this whole experience. Of the first film.
Yeah, had
I'm
to
sure-
snap a Twix.
I had to snap a Twix. I had to snap 4 fingers of Kit Kat just to make it through the night.
Yeah. Okay. So then, Ouija, Origin of Evil. Have you got some info on that one as well?
Yeah, so that one's. It's only 2 years later, 2016 American supernatural horror film, directed and edited by Mike Flanagan, written by Flanagan and Jeff Howard. It's a prequel to the 2014 film. Stars Elizabeth Racer, Annalise Basso, and Henry Thomas. A widow and her family introduce a Ouija board to their phony seance business, thereby inviting a spirit that possesses the youngest daughter. So it is officially the prequel, which is obviously all the past stuff that's mentioned in the first film about a
Yeah.
daughter, mother.
These
But-
ghost films have a habit of, they can't just introduce something and leave it. It's got to have a movie. It's like a spinning web. It's never going to end until
It's
there's
basically
a film about
it's like
Patrick
the
Wilson's socks. Where there's a,
it's basically like the movie universe, isn't it? Like, obviously we're in the throes of that. Well, actually, we're probably in
the
a lot of the death throes of that. I mean, I hope a lot of movie universes kind of haven't taken off. Universal Monsters universe, the MCU obviously has done it. DC was kind of iffy.
And it's better now. It's given up now. The DC universe seems to be finding its feet now. It's decided not
Yeah,
to be.
how
a
it
universe.
goes. This is just a standalone bloody film. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Don't worry about it, mate. Chill out, mate. Okay, so by contrast, first film had 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. This one has 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Does have a 57% user score, and it's got 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which I think probably about right, but I think a little bit harsh. I think maybe the problem is it's following up that sort of really kind of terrible first film.
Yeah, so I mean, the weird thing about this is what I originally thought was, wow, why did this sequel even get made? But the last one made a lot of money, based on its budget. I think maybe it made about 100 million or something like that.
So I think we're Mike Flanagan fans. I know I'm a bit of a Mike Flanagan fan now. What were you expecting going into this one after seeing Ouija 1?
Something a lot better, because I think now I've seen all of Mike Flanagan films except what's the other one called? The VR one. Oculus.
Okay, yeah.
I know it's not about VR, but Oculus is a VR thing.
Have you
Isn't it?
seen Absentia then as well?
No, that's another one I haven't seen. Sorry.
Before I Wake.
No. Wait, what have I seen? So I've seen Hush.
Yeah.
I've seen Gerald's Game and Doctor Sleep. So I thought including this that was all of it, but no, you're right. Yes.
Absentia was a
Absentia.
Kickstarter film. They crowdfunded it before Mike Flanagan had any, nous to his directing career.
Yeah.
And then, so if I forget the timeline right, I think Before I Wake. No, it was either Oculus or Before I Wake. He made similar sort of time. That was his early stuff, and then there was this, which seems to be the transition to him suddenly getting bigger and better stuff, and then we had Gerald's Game and House on Haunted Hill. He just seems to be getting big. He's like a meteoric sort of rise, really. He's got the work ethic, and he just seems to, I don't know, pull out good stuff.
He's doing a bloody business, mate, isn't he?
I gotta say, I don't think everything like hits like gangbusters that he does, but it all feels well made. At least, at the very least, it always feels really well.
It's got like there is something that's his directorial style. I don't think it's entirely unique. I feel like it does borrow from a few sort of big hitters, especially like Doctor Sleep. Obviously, there was a lot of
Stephen
Kubrick
King
stuff in there.
Oh, right.
Stephen King and Kubrick. But yeah, so I think it does borrow from a lot of big directors.
Yeah.
But it's got a very polished directorial style, which kind of just, I mean, this film's just allowed to breathe a bit, which
it still feels a little bit like he's finding his feet a bit in this as well. I think this might be his first proper studio film, so it might be.
I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was, in comparison to the first one, it was miles better. There were still a few cliche bits, but I think that's maybe just the subject matter he was working with. Good to see. Obviously, there was obviously a lot of actresses and actors, especially including like Henry Thomas, Elizabeth. So people who were in Haunted Hill House and Gerald's Game and other things. Actors, a sort of like pool of actors that he clearly always goes back to. Which is good. He's married to one of them, isn't he? He's married to Kate Siegel.
Is she?
She's only in the first opening scene of this film, which is she plays like the wife. She plays like.
I didn't recognise. She's got blonde hair in it. Or
yeah.
I didn't recognise her. Yeah, and she's the main person in Hush, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. He's getting like a little acting troupe together and
definitely
regularly using him. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it's better all around. I guess let's just jump in. I mean, the style of the film is that it's got the 70s in the Doctor Sleep. He kind of used it in that as well when he had all the. Did he have like this? I don't think he had the cigarette burns in the corner, but it felt like he'd sort of captured a sort of 70s ambiance to it. There was a little bit of that one there in this, a little bit of the flickers of the that was cool.
I
mean, so it takes place 1967. We open with the three girls who were mentioned in the first film. So we've got Alessandra, who's the mum, who plays mother, and she's a spiritual medium, and she kind of pretends to be talking to dead relatives and stuff, and she says it's like a service. She just likes to help people, and she said it's a way they can sort of come to peace. But she also gets in her daughters, 9-year-old Doris and what's the other one called?
Paulina.
Lena. Oh yeah, Paulina. And they sort of help out in the scam. They pull doors, they hide behind curtains and make ooh noises.
Ooga booga.
Ooga booga.
I'm your mum.
So they're doing this, but I think it's weird because they did all that at the start. They pretended to reading, or they did a reading, and it kind of scared the guy too much, the old man too much, and she was like, "No, don't worry about it, don't pay for it." And it was a fiver they were paying for all that, and I was like, "Is she making a living from just that? She needs to be cranking through their readings at least." I mean, what, 5 a day she needs to crank through?
Yeah.
I don't know. The 60s were different, but
everyone wanted their mediums done.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all still grieving after like the death of their of the daddy called Roger. Did we find out how he died?
I think so. I heard I read there was a 40 minutes cut from the film. Some of it was about the dad. Some of it was about the evil doctor, which we only even like touch on later on in the film. So there must be like a ton of stuff missing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but so Lena goes to like a party, doesn't she, and plays like the Ouija board with her mates.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a setup, nothing really. Like, they didn't contact any spirits, but like the boys are trying to scare them, and one of the girls is getting like really scared.
This is going to sound like I'm just raving about Mike Flanagan, but well, to some extent. But even this bit, we've seen this same scene in the other film, the gathering of friends, but this feels way more natural. It actually makes you kind of care about the characters.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's just like dialogue. It's just like exchanges between the characters. You kind of establish those connections between the characters already, even though a couple of the characters you don't even see again.
Yeah.
Just you understand that sort of connection between them.
There's a fun little moment where one of the girls is like so terrified. She's just like constantly screaming at every little mention or noise or movement. Yeah, it's good. It's just something. It's just so much more self-assured.
Yeah, it's a confident film.
Yeah,
it's something that doesn't take too many missteps in trying to bring a very similar story to the forefront. Yeah.
I think it speeds through pretty quickly as well. So pretty soon. Oh, so is at that house party where she found out about Ouija boards? They're all the rage in the 60s, apparently. So she tells the mum that the way she can spice up her medium act, spiritual reading, is to introduce a Ouija board. So she does. She goes to Tesco's, Woolworths maybe, Argos, who knows, buys one, brings it back, adds magnets, makes it all interactive and crazy, and she plans to use it. I think, did he even get around to using it before Doris ends up speaking to it?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
Might be on a again.
Yeah, maybe. So I think they receive a notice from the bank saying they've got to like foreclose their home, and basically Doris like uses the board to like try and contact her dad. And the spirit sort of leads her to this secret compartment in the basement, and in there's like a wallet full of load of dollar.
Yeah, dollar wallet.
And she goes to give the money to her mum, and obviously says use this to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a bit weird. But then after that, I think doesn't Alice start believing that maybe there is something to the Ouija board? Maybe they can actually contact Roger and have a little chat with him.
There was a moment before this where what's her name is testing out the Ouija board as part of her act. She's like saying, "Is anybody here?" She's not communicating with the dead. She doesn't intend to be. She's just like working through the script. And then upstairs, Doris is responding as if to the questions. Right. Yeah, it's quite a cool little creepy moment.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then I think there's a few spooky bits. There's like lots of shots of like I think this might be a bit of a Flanagan trait. There's just like ghosts randomly in some of the shots, with glowing eyes.
Yeah, just like all right.
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of that. I do like those sort of like slow spinning shots he does. They're quite cool.
Yeah,
he does them quite a lot. So basically try and contact Roger. Alice asks him a question. She says, "Where were you when I told you I was pregnant with one of the kids?" And it says shower, doesn't it? And she's like, "How could he have known? How could anyone have known that? Right. It must have been shower."
Yeah.
She basically believes it from there on out. That yes, they're in contact with her her husband's ghost.
And then she realizes, business is going to be booming. So she uses Doris as part of the thing. It becomes a real. I think finally she's vindicated or validated because she's actually now speaking to the dead, or she believes it, and she starts, selling it to everyone in the town. At the same time, Lena is developing a relationship with a a young guy.
Yep.
I can't remember his name.
Keith. I don't know.
Keith Lemon. And yeah, I don't. I mean, it's nice. I mean, there's bits where they're having their first kiss and stuff. It's just a sweet little romance. I mean, it's good. I mean, it works. You do care about them a little bit. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, and he has some weird.
Yeah.
He has some weird exchanges with Doris, and while she's obviously becoming gradually more possessed by this spirit, which clearly isn't her dad. He says to her at one point, "See you later, Doris," and she just basically talks to him in great detail about what it's like to be strangled to death.
Oh yeah.
And he sort of just goes, "All right, well that was nice. See you later."
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
There's a bit where Lena finds like loads of paperwork that she saw Doris like writing. Doris like looking away and writing something really fast.
That's
finds
scrying.
it. Yeah, and it's in fluent Polish. So she takes them to. So at their school, there's a guy called Father Tom, like a priest principal.
Yeah.
A priest principal, played by Henry Thomas, and he gets someone to sort of translate them, and he gets and they're obviously all in Polish, and then he goes to the house to visit, and sort of goes through a weird sort of setup to try and discredit.
Well, okay, so just a little bit before that, there's the possession bit, where Doris is she's got pain in the neck. She comes downstairs in the middle of the night, and we have the planchette bit where she's looking left and right, and then she looks in the mirror, and there's it looks like a demon. It's got like a weird mouth.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Is it?
Yeah, that was a bit Insidious, wasn't it? The sort of weird.
I think that's a Blumhouse special, that is. But was the mouth sewed but sideways?
Don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, it shoved its arm right in the mouth. Get a load of this.
Yeah, it does. Have a load of this, you bastard.
Yeah. I mean, this film does move pretty rapidly now. Think about it, because next up we got the Father Thomas comes and catches her out in the. He's a creepy father. He's a creepy priest. Yeah,
so he basically goes there with the pretense that he wants to contact his dead wife. And what happens?
Well, he sits down and he says, "Where were we when I asked to be married?" and stuff, and occasionally she answers, sometimes she doesn't, and every time he's like, "That's incredible," but doesn't
That's
really
incredible.
seem that bothered about it.
It's Gloria, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's talking to her, and then afterwards, he sort of, after the so-called successful medium session, he takes Alice and Lena upstairs, leaves Doris downstairs, and explains that he was basically lying, and he was basically trying to trick the spirit that's possessed Doris. That's right, isn't it? He said, even though she kind of correctly answered every question, she was basically reading his thoughts and thinking and repeating answers that he was thinking in his mind, which weren't necessarily correct. And then he reveals that the letters were written by a Polish immigrant named Marcus, who was taken captive during World War II by this sadistic doctor, conducted experiments on him, and the spirits knew the answers that only Roger would know, because they've been watching the family since the day they moved in.
Yeah, so they've been taking notes.
They were taking notes,
talking about it, gossiping constantly. One of them's got a blog, just talks about the lives of Doris and family.
You should stay to this family. Just moved into our bloody place. Load of shit.
Look at this little bitch. I mean, because they know no one can hear them. Actually, they can't speak, can they? So I'm guessing they're not saying stuff, but they're thinking it. They're thinking the worst,
which in a way is worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Silent ghosts. That is quite a creepy idea, isn't it? It's just silent ghosts who can't talk.
Spit it out, ghosts. I can't be bothered.
Nah, you said something then. So as they're talking about that, Doris kills the boyfriend. I can't remember how.
she hangs him, doesn't she?
Hangs him. But how?
So this is all like, so that's pretty much speed towards the finale of the film now. So Doris kills Lena's boyfriend when so he basically comes to visit while they're all upstairs. She says that they're not there, but that she's basically he can wait for them, and then she kills him he just ends up hanging, doesn't he?
Absolutely hanging. What?
Absolutely hanging.
It's like
In this time, I think Lena burns the Ouija board in the furnace. Father Tom finds a secret room where these experiments are conducted, so he basically finds it in the basement through a secret room. But that's where Doris is.
Yeah,
She's sort of like hiding in the walls, isn't she?
Right. Doris like licks people's ears. She like chats into their ears.
And they go, "Oh no!"
Their eyes turn white, which is what they did in the first one as well.
Yep.
And then he hanged himself. And he's still sort of bouncing around. It's like I don't know what you call them.
You notice when Mikey hangs himself? Is it Mikey?
Why not?
His name's Mikey. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one attempts to try and when you always see it. I mean, I've never been around anyone. Try to get their legs up. No one attempts to do that. They just go, "Yeah, he's fucked."
Also, people shit themselves when they hang themselves. So.
Get him out of the house!
Somebody open the bloody door!
Bloody stinking! What's he been eating?
Yeah. But his hair is immaculate, even in death. He shit himself, but check out his hair.
Luke Condor's ultimate compliment. His hair is immaculate, even indoors. Even in death, even indoors. I said that.
Even indoors. Wow. You maintained that hairstyle all the way as you stepped inside. Okay, so things start happening. The father. Did he get? Oh, okay, yeah. So he gets chased. No, he just gets chased by Doris, a spooky Doris. And he lets them out. What happens? Okay, yeah, I don't know.
So he gets chased by a spooky Doris. The Doris basically possesses him. He gets like milky eyes, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
I don't know.
Did you say that?
Yeah. He gets possessed.
Yeah, he gets possessed and like chases after them. Then the ghost manages to like just throw him down the stairs for some reason.
Yeah. Done with that.
Yeah, remember that.
If you were like a ghost and you had a body, you'd keep it for his
yeah, you would.
bloody body.
We got a bloody body. It's lovely.
Spend some time with this. Yeah.
Alice gets like captured, dragged away. Roger's spirit carries Lena when she's unconscious to bed. And there's an earlier moment where like a doll ends up with like stitched mouth, and Lena thinks it was Doris, and she's kind of has a go at her and says like, "How dare you do this? My dad gave me this doll."
Yeah.
But then she realizes it was stitched by her father's spirits to shut out the voices, and that's when she realizes that she needs to sew Doris's mouth shut to quiet the spirits' voices and stop the evil. I felt that's a lot of pressure. I don't think I can sew very well at all. Imagine trying to like pin someone down and sew their
pin as well, like a hooked pin, and like it doesn't even seem to like you don't just go like in and out. You just go down.
Yeah.
What is that like? You turn into a sewing machine? Like that's all you need.
I don't know. I am sewing machine.
Just gonna be doing this, and if your mouth gets stitched together, it's your own fault.
I'm gonna be doing this, and if you get in the way and your mouth gets stitched together, I'm sorry.
Yeah. My hands are tied. Literally, I just made a mistake.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So what happens? So Alice gets like stabbed by Doris.
She gets possessed for like it's a momentary possession.
Split second.
Sorry, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get.
And then. Yeah, no, the spirits possess Lena, don't they? And she stabs her mum.
Yeah.
With a knife. And then Alice pretty much dies. Well, she does die. Says that it wasn't your fault, Lena. I know you didn't mean to stab me.
Yeah.
And I remember where Alice sees Roger and Doris like together, and then she like dies as she's dying.
Yeah. She sees the family. They're all happy.
And basically that's it. So they're all happy. They're all happy together and dead. But Lena, unfortunately, you got to live the rest of your life in a psychiatric hospital based on what happened.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hang on
She's getting the shitty end of this.
Also, she's lost the marbles. It says here in a post-credit scene. I didn't watch the post-credit scene.
I did watch a post-credit scene. It was yeah.
Was
So
it
basically, no, you don't see anyone.
Oh.
Oh no, no, sorry, it wasn't. It is Lin Shaye. Sorry, yeah, you're correct.
Lena receives
Sorry.
a visit from someone claiming to be her niece.
Yeah, so basically it's like
Cinematic universe.
cinematic universe. Yeah, even though the first film is an utter load of shit, and linking those films together is ridiculous. But basically, yeah. So Lena, in when she gets put into the mental hospital for the suspected murder of her mother and sister, because you can't just go around saying, "Oh no, it was just a bloody ghost." You can't.
You can.
People aren't going to believe you. You can, but people don't believe you.
Yeah.
So she goes to the mental hospital. She rips up some of the carpet, and she makes a Ouija board using her blood for letters. I just kept thinking, that's a lot of blood to make the old bloody alphabet.
I can't stand. I mean, in a sort of not like I don't like that they do it, but you know, people bite. Happens in films where they bite and they open themselves up with their own teeth. I think that it just goes through me. It just makes me feel really queasy.
So she uses some glasses to make the little the lens thing.
Yeah.
And then she tries to summon Doris' spirit. I just think leave it alone, innit?
Leave it, mate. Maybe she does go a bit nutcake then for the.
Yeah, but there's a pretty good final scene, final shot to this, which is where Doctor's walking past the room, and as he walks past Lena's room, it looks like Lena's sat on bed with someone else. Like you see like two figures, and he goes back, and as he's looking in, Lena's right against the glass.
Yeah.
And we see Doris running along. So obviously that isn't Doris, is it? That's Marcus again in Doris form. Just leave it alone. Just stop mucking about with a Ouija board. Just think, for the rest of my life, because I've gone my whole life without needing to do a Ouija board, right? My whole life.
Ouija board, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't needed a Ouija board once. Just don't do a Ouija board. Just go, I ain't gonna do a Ouija board now. Get off the Ouija boards. Go cold turkey if you have to.
Have I done a Ouija board? I kind of feel like it's something I would have done. It seems like the kind of thing I would do. But I think my mum did one once, years ago, and she said that it told her that she was going to marry someone with the initials GC. My dad's called Gary Condor. Our surname is spelled with a K, but most people, as I say in this podcast, it's Condor with a K. I have to say with a K because everyone spells it with a C. Yeah. So maybe the ghost.
So basically, what you're saying is Ouija boards are real and true, and there's the proof.
Yep. So I think the worst things about this film are the things where they try and tie back to the first film. If it was its own thing and it had more free reign, it would have been way better. Like I don't.
Yeah.
All the stuff that was pointing back to the original one kind of pulls it down. The stitched mouth thing, I kind of that's a bit annoying. I don't think it quite works in a way, but it's 40 minutes missing in the film, so it could work with the full cut. Who knows?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fun to be had with this film. It's not perfect, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah, the bits where it tries to tie it back to other films don't feel right because they don't feel earned. Not at all. So
I've got some trivia.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1.
Yeah.
Where did the spooky beginnings of the word? Worded this really weirdly. Where did the spooky beginnings of the word Ouija find their origins?
Say again?
So where did the word Ouija find? Where did it come from?
Ouija. We French. Some with French.
Right. Okay. So Ouija is a trademark of Hasbro Inc. It was made up by Hasbro. The creators came up with the name after combining the French and German words for yes, we, and ja.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing I was going for here was that it kind of makes you feel like Ouija board. It's like a bad juju sort of hichikuku, bad witchcraft sort of thing. But it's just a toy. It's just a thing that Hasbro brought out. Okay, number 2. Mike Flanagan released 3 movies in this same year this came out. Can you name all 3?
What year was this? 2016. Hush.
Yep.
And Before I Wake.
Yep.
And this.
Yep.
I was thinking, what's the third then?
Well done.
Bloody hell. Turn your bloody work. Have a day off, Mike Flanagan. Jesus, go home to the wife and kids if you got kids. I don't know. Just chill out have a bloody milkshake and a waffle. Just
Yeah.
stop releasing films.
So then, what was that? I mean, Haunted Hill House, which is apparently it's like a 12-episode film, and Gerald's Game, Doctor Sequel,
Doctor Sequel.
He's done a lot, yeah. Needs to chill out. Okay, number
A
3.
great man. Great man.
I'm gonna say,
Great
the
man.
actress who plays Doris.
Yes.
What's her name? Just want to make sure I've got the right actress here. In
The actress who
in the
plays
sequel,
So the,
in the Matt Flanagan film.
the
Elizabeth
actress who
Reese.
plays Doris is Lulu Wilson.
Is that in the first one?
No. I don't know the actor who plays. The actor who plays her in the first one looks like Warwick Davis or something. It's just like some.
Because somewhere something's gone a bit
It's-
amiss here.
It's some weird, like, heavily made up child in the first film. I don't think we ever truly see her, do we? I can't remember.
By the way, just before I go into this one, Doug Jones is in Ouija: Origin of Evil. I think he was supposed to play the creepy doctor, but then we
Okay.
didn't see him. Okay, number 3. I've got here Elizabeth Reese played a character called Doris twice, but I think this might mean Lulu. We'll double check in a second. In Ouija: Origin of Evil, and what other film was she called Doris in?
I couldn't
Came out in
even tell you.
2015.
Give me another clue. Is it a horror film?
No,
It's not a horror film.
no.
Well,
There are
is
other
it-
films.
is it? I don't know. I couldn't even say.
The other film,
No.
she was called Doris in Ouija: Origin of Evil, and 2015's Hello, My Name is Doris. Okay, number 4. What?
You all right?
That's what it's called. The other film's called Hello, My Name is Doris.
That's
Don't
true.
Don't know what to tell you. But I don't know if this is Elizabeth Reese, because this said in
Oh.
Ouija: Origin of Evil, but it wasn't
Mate, you-
Reese in Ouija: Origin of Evil. Was it?
No, I don't know.
That's what I mean.
I don't know.
Something's messed up, and it's the government.
Something's messed.
Okay,
It's the
number 4.
bloody government. It's the government, mate. It's
Number
the bloody
4.
government. We have no more of these films if we don't bloody change the government. Go on.
This house in Origin Ouija of Evil was in another Blumhouse horror movie. Can you say what the film is? Same house, 2 films.
Same house as another Blumhouse horror movie.
Yeah, this is the Blumhouse, I guess.
Was it in Us? Go back to this house in Us?
Do you really want to go with us?
Is it in Get Out?
It was us. No, it was push you away from the right. No, it was from Lights Out, which is close. Get Out, Lights Out. I see you.
Yeah, Lights Out.
you were
I
on
haven't
the
seen
way.
Lights Out over.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Lights Out
don't
over.
wanna-
Again, in the same way Mike Flanagan needs to give it a rest, Blumhouse need to give it a bloody rest.
Yeah,
Remember, in the last quiz episode, we found out they've done like 90 films.
yeah.
Give it a rest.
So they make their money.
Have a year off.
By the way,
Instead
Lights
they make their
Out.
money by churning out some shite.
I would say Lights Out. Don't bother watching the feature film. It's based on a short film. There's like a viral
Yeah,
thing,
seen
and
that.
the short film's
I've
great.
seen that.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Seen
Isn't
it, mate. Complete it. Number 5. What are the 3 Ouija rules that they break? Or do they? This says.
Always-
Hang on a sec. Go on. Look on the bright side of life. Go on.
Always say goodbye.
Yep.
Don't do it in a bloody graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah. well done.
Don't do it naked. I don't remember. Don't. I can't
You
remember. Don't do it in a
that's sort of correct.
graveyard.
Yeah.
Don't do it in.
The nud.
Don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Don't do it in a graveyard. Always say goodbye. Boom.
Yeah, and it says here they were all broken. Family members played alone. Goodbye was never uttered, and it said a graveyard was involved. Was it? Oh, I
Yeah.
guess it was. If they all
Basically, said
died
it
in
was
the
a
house.
graveyard because the house
Yeah.
is essentially a graveyard. Yeah.
I haven't even thought about the review for this. Well, I know I'm going to give 1.
Yeah, so I mean, I would safely and happily give Ouija an F
fucking hell.
because I haven't felt Like, well, I haven't felt this like actively annoyed by a film in a long time, and I think it's a genre of film it is, which I said I'm already on a knife edge with anyway. And when it goes bad for me, it really goes bad. And I found this the most predictable
Slop.
pile of shite, pile of slop, just slop, just slop,
Yeah.
just pure slop of the most basic level, sloppy
Yeah.
slop. So yeah, I'd give it that. But I'd go as far as to say that Ouija Origin of Evil, I'd give a B-.
Nice. Okay, well, I was going to go for an E for.
Just do an F, mate. Don't go sitting on a fence.
I'm not sitting on the fence. It's an E. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not like. I mean, it makes sense. Like it's. Do you know what I mean? It sticks. It knows what genre it is, and it does it, but it doesn't do it very well.
That's like saying I know I'm a human, so I'm sat
No,
here
but I think an F
defecating.
is like a film that has failed at being a film. Like it's like
If F is the lowest I've ever given a film on this podcast, then I'm happy to stick with that.
okay.
F you.
And I was going to go for a B- for Ouija Origin of Evil.
Yeah, so we both went for B- because I think it's far more competent in essentially trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think the 60s setting helps it a little bit, helps it feel a little bit more, tasty,
more interesting.
more interesting.
I kind of wish it wasn't tied down to the first one in any way, but there you go.
It's bogged down by the first one.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for listening. Become a patron over at patreon.com/FalkenCleaver. Thanks to Go Back to Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the people on the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe. Go to iTunes, hit subscribe. Did I say subscribe twice? I don't know.
Subscribe once, then unsubscribe,
And then subscribe
then
again.
subscribe again.
Just
if
to be
you really
doubly
feel
sure.
like you need to.
Two-factor authentication.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so thanks to my co-host Ben for being a right dude.
Thank you, Luke. Thanks as always for being just the best.
Thank you.
That sounded a little bit patronising. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
Alright, I'm gonna go. I really need a wee. Yeah. Bored.
Bye. Enjoy your week.